Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today I'm doing, with a very sad heart, a reading for fire sign, sun, moon and rising. I'm using the deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and I'm working with the Fairy Oracle, Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, and artwork by Selena Fennick. The first card I pulled is your energy, Nana. Queen of Wands. Brilliant, passionate, extremely fiery individual that you're going to have to really convince her to take your side over your opinion. You have to convince her that your opinion is correct, because she won't be going just with anyone. She always spoke up for others. She always defended the underdog. And my Nana was a fighter, and she taught me how to be a fighter. I believe I was given her gift. I inherited her psychic ability when I died and came back from a seizure. It was an epileptic seizure. It was very upsetting. I had medication. My friend drugged me with ice, and that was found up in the IC ward at the Calvary. This person I've known for 20 years did that to me. I don't trust anyone anymore. I have huge trust issues. My Nana told me that friends come and go, and that you don't really have friends. She said that to me. She's very loyal, very talented, and she was also very good at organising a huge household. There was just my mum is a single mum, 4 other kids, and managed to do a shift worker husband's role. Somehow she did it effortlessly. Everything moved like clockwork. Literally, she had clocks throughout her whole house. She loves clocks. My grandfather loves clocks, and so does my dad. That's a thing for Leos, I think. She was a Leo. So what it's saying is that I've got a Sagittarius moon and I have an Aries ascendant. It's talking about going on a holiday overseas from a hot country to a cold country. And it may be sudden. It's something you didn't bank on. You weren't banking on doing anything this year. But something will happen to you where you may decide to relocate to be with this person that you are highly attracted to, who is younger than you, who's a fellow reader. Been communicating with him since 2020. He's the person and the reason I got involved in doing my own online channel. It was a vlog, just Moonlight Madness, and I just typed up what I did card readings with. That was all it was. And he kept pushing me to make it bigger and do something every day and be active on YouTube every day to be part of the community. I didn't believe in myself back then. I had lost my job, my car, my kids and my mind, and almost lost my life. So I was not in the best way. I was homeless at the time. I went through huge challenges being homeless, and mental health and family breakdown. The only thing that kept me going was YouTube, was Oceans Only YouTube. I used to watch it. It kept my spirits up when I was a disability support worker, and I was looking after 3 international students, and I started to watch his channel. That's what kept me going. All he did was read for Aquarius for quite a while, and then he expanded to other star signs, but he started out very small and I followed him, and he inspired me. In the recent past, you were involved with a fire sign, possibly in Aries. If they're a Pisces, they're Aries. They've got Aries ascendant in their chart. They've got a lot of fire. That's warmongers. I call that warmonger mentality. That's like a general of an army. I've picked up the Carnelian, which represents fire signs, to inspire fertility, to inspire sexuality, vibrancy. That's what fire is. Fire attracts like. I had Aries ascendant, and I was involved with a past guy that was my baby daddy to my boys, who had Aries in his chart quite strongly. We butted heads because we were both trying to rule. Can you imagine 2 generals trying to rule? It's very difficult. Saying in the past that you had a chariot, that you had a car, that you drove, and you had a lot of self-discipline, and that's how you got to where you are, because you're self-disciplined. I call it dawn patrol. I used to get up at 4 o'clock every morning and study disability support worker, and then prepare lunches, and then took my kids to school, and then I went to work, and that was all from 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm very driven. I'm very, very driven. I got really good results, and I had graduated with a certificate 4 in disability. I was studying law when my children were small, and I'm looking at going back to that. I love to stand up for the underdog. I like to fight the good fight. I get that from my grandmother. She taught me all about standing up for the rights of others that couldn't fight for themselves, and she was the lady that introduced me to all the plants, which is why I became a beauty therapist, because I wanted to work with natural oils. I still work with natural oils. I prefer that to medication. It's talking about differing opinions. This is the Aquarian. We're coming into Aquarius season as of today. We're coming into Aquarius season where we fight the good fight and we stand up for the underdog, and it's a match. It's a real fight. You're fighting with 5 other people that don't share your opinion or your values, and that's fine, because Aquarians don't share or hold or value other people's opinions generally. We dance to a different drummer, if that makes sense. We follow our own path. We're never going to be pulled into line by society or what society dictates. That's not who Aquarius is. Back in the Day of the Dead, in Egyptian times, there was a way to weigh up someone's heart if they were telling the truth or not. And they would put it, the heart would be balanced by the feather in Egyptian mythology. And if the feather weighed more than the heart, that means that the person was actually lying, and then they would be devoured by this monster that was waiting to eat their soul. I believe everyone is given a choice in life to be truthful, and if they don't abide by the truth, or they don't abide by what society dictates, then I don't see fit on following their rules. I would like to fight for people that I believe have moral compasses that would stand up for somebody else in the room. That's just my belief. I work with natural oils. I work with lavender, which helps lower blood pressure. I work with rose, which helps to balance out emotions and attract love. I work with those oils on my face every day. My skin looks amazing. I look younger than what I am because I treat my face like an Egyptian goddess would, like Cleopatra. She was all into natural therapies. She used to bathe herself in milk, which, as we know now, we use it in current technology for making someone look younger. Lactic acid, lactic acid or milk helps to keep the skin youthful. She was always into natural therapies. I do believe I had a past life in an Egyptian past life. I've always believed that. You want everything to come to some sort of balance. Merge everyone's viewpoints, because there's this huge shit fight that no one wants to resolve. They all just want to fight for no reason. No one's listening. They're just all screaming at each other. That's what happens when you have a funeral. No one's ever going to agree. But everyone should have an input onto what goes on that day. I'm boycotting my Nana's funeral because of it. Strength is, of course, the fire sign. I'm a walking Chinese wood tiger. I'm actually the tiger in the Chinese zodiac. We don't take things and we don't mince our words lightly. The grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness, time to embrace how wonderful you are. The 11, I believe, is a doorway, so whenever I get my daydreams, it's usually around 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the daytime. I've put Tiger's Eye from Rainbow Runner because I believe Tiger's Eye is representative of the Leo line. So strength, you're going to have to use your inner strength to overcome what is a very emotional time. Then we've got here, fight the good fight. There's the activist card, 7 of Wands. I'm standing up for my grandmother. Whenever I wear her ring, I get fired up. It's a ruby. It's fire. Ruby is all about fire, and she never backed down from a fight, and neither will I, and I'm not going to the funeral because of it. I don't want her burnt. I want her buried. End of story. If you don't want to listen to me, then I'm not going to come, and I'm not going to be. I don't want to be part of that family that does that to my grandmother. The next card stone I've got is from Rainbow Runner, is the citron, which attracts money and wealth. Stand up for what you believe in. You will get downloads. I haven't had them yet from her. I'm waiting for her to maintain contact with me, because I talk to people that have passed over. I speak with the dead all the time. Once I had my near-death experience where I had an epileptic seizure and went over to the other side and saw COVID. I've come back with all these new abilities that are not normal. My family doesn't agree with it. They don't understand it. I can't help what I do. I just am what I am now. Have these natural downloads all the time. I touch something, I get a read off it. I touched the door the other day where someone repaired my air conditioning unit. I got his future in 10 years that morning when I went for a walk. I told him we're going to have 2 children, a girl and a boy. Don't know when that is, but I'm guessing it's in the next 10 years. And he was kind of gobsmacked, but I just went, you know what, I see what I see for a reason. And wouldn't you like to be told you're going to have a child, like a girl and a boy, one of each? It's kind of a nice thing to be told. He was grateful for the insight. I've also seen a war. So when I died, I went to heaven and came back, and I saw future forward, 20 years forward. And I saw this war, and there was no noise. There was just the howling. They call it the hounds of hell. All I heard was the hounds of hell, as in dogs moaning, crying, nothing. No life was left on the planet. And there was vans, like jeeps, like SUVs, going around door to door to see if there was any signs of life. That's what I saw. We all moved up to Mars. We reproduced in Mars and had built cities up there and reproduced humans up there. There was no longer relationships because they did it through a TP dish. They did it through IVF. Things are going to change drastically once this war happens. The only people that will be left are the ones that survive it, and I don't see anyone surviving this war. Don't know how else to bring that to attention. So you're going to get downloads, more downloads, fire signs. If that's what's around you, you're going to have crystal clear vision coming through from spirit, from source. I don't claim this to be my visions. These are from God. And I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But I do believe God is speaking directly through me for the masses to try and prevent this going ahead. I did tell the powers that be, I did tell my psychologist back in 2019 what I'd seen, and she didn't believe me. And then when it all unfolded, how I saw Black Lives Matters, the coffins, the whole thing, she then believed me. We have a different relationship to most psychologists. She actually knows I'm telling her the truth. She's trying to treat the person that has the issues. I have PTSD from what I saw, and the fact that I'm psychic. There is some lump money coming towards you, or a gift being given to you, advice or assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. This could be a new job. You may decide to do this full-time as a job. I'm looking at doing this full-time as a job. If you could like and share my page, I would really appreciate it. But I did a spell on my grandmother the last time she was admitted to hospital. That was 3 years ago, before she went to the home, and I prayed for her not to die. I wrote down on a piece of white paper, Dorothy in light, Dorothy in light. She was not meant to survive that first admission. She came out the other end. I did the same with my grandfather, and he was supposed to die on the table. He had a bowel obstruction, and I did my grandfather's name, Bruce in light, and I prayed, and I did a few invocations, I guess, spell work. White witch, white wicca. I work with white wicca. I don't work with the devil. And I did these spells to try and keep him here, and yeah, he survived a bit longer, but maybe that was not my job, and I had a God complex, and I shouldn't have done it because he's now without his wife. I could have done a spell for her to stay, but her body gave out. And I don't want him alone, but I also know she couldn't stay here anymore. Her body just gave up. So I'm sorry, Granddad, I would have done it for you, but I couldn't play God with Nana again. I just felt that she wanted to go. She did not want to be in that home, and I didn't want to see her in there. I stopped talking to my mother 4 months ago, and I got a message from work saying to please put a pajama top aside for a Dorothy. Now, I don't know many Dorothys on the planet except the Wizard of Oz, you know, the Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. That's my grandmother's name. I rang my mother that day. She'd just been admitted to the IC unit. It was very upsetting, and she passed quickly. She passed. I kept waking up at 1:30 for the last 8 weeks, and I couldn't understand why. It's because she passed at 1:30 on the 13th of January. Very unexpected. She died of pneumonia. She was trying to communicate with me 2 weeks prior to that, and say, come to the beach, Kel, let's go to the beach. And my mum's saying to her, she won't come to the beach, she doesn't want to talk to me. And I said, I'm sorry, Nana, I can't speak with her right now, I'm upset with her. And that was my vision, that I was being warned that she was leaving the planet. It's a very huge thing. She's my second mum, and I feel a great loss because of her leaving the building. Nana, I'm sorry I'm not going to your funeral, but I don't agree with what they're doing. And that's all I have to say on that matter. I'm going to pull cards for the Fairy Oracle. If you see people that pass over, it's very unsettling. I saw Matthew Perry pass over before he did. 2 hours before he passed over, I had a visitation at work. I saw him. I didn't speak to him because I know when it's a hallucination, a daydream, I don't speak or engage with it. I just know that he's trying to tell me that he's leaving the planet. My kids went to pick me up that day, and I didn't say anything, and then they said that Matthew Perry passed away. I said, I already knew. And they went, how did you know? And I said, what I saw, because I was reading his book. So obviously I was picking up on his energy because I was reading his book called Matthew Perry, Friends, Lovers, and The Big Bad Thing. I borrowed it from the library, so I must have been picking up energy from that book. What I do, I read energy off objects. I'm a walking antenna. Stolen in her sleep, you've got. Oh, and the Midnight Prince. Air sign energy. We were just talking about Matthew Perry. He was a Libran. Very much lived inside his head. Questioned his ability to make choices, but he was actually a very smart man. He was writing a book to put things to right, to put justice to right, because he was writing about the incest that goes in, that is all a part of the Hollywood movement, the Me Too movement. He was actually writing a book trying to expose these big wigs. I do believe that he was met with foul play. I don't believe it was an accident. I think it was actually orchestrated, and there's no evidence of it, but someone must have known he was writing that book. Stolen in her sleep, number 15. And I had a vision of a pool 3 days before I read the book, and he was saying, look at all the sparkly, beautiful water, look at how the water moves. And apparently days later they released a Who magazine where that was his exact words, what he said to me in my vision. That was his last words he put up on Facebook or wherever he was filming his jacuzzi from, the pool that he died in. Stolen in her sleep is number 15. Unable to remember dreams, feeling cut off from psychic abilities, unsure of whether the path you are drawn to follow is safe, feeling scared that you may be entering a dark realm, wishing to go home and to ascend before you've done the deep work on the self. If this card has come to you, it is time to go deep within, to go into the earth and to understand that material transformation is spiritual. And I said to my mother, it takes 4 days for a soul to leave the planet. She's not yet left the building, but she's in the process of doing that. 43. And by me wearing her ring, keeps her with me longer, and I don't want to stop her transition. So I've taken the ring off. If every thought is a wish to this fairy prince, what are you on your way to receiving? The fairy prince is making an appearance in your life soon in the form of wishes and dreams coming to fruition in order to create the greatest possible potential from these wonderful beings' abilities. Be sure to know what it is you want, then to focus your thoughts, emotions, actions, intent on this. Bring all of it into alignment and be honest. When there appears to be blocks, then allow them to be released gently and without drama. The thing is to be honest about what it is you want. There are no penalties for being so. There is nothing to hide or disguise about yourself. Only be who you are and watch the magics begin to unwind in your life. And I keep seeing the reader, Ocean Only, every day. He's in my thoughts, he's in my head, he's everywhere because I'm psychic. I see future visions, and I've seen him move here. I've seen us together. Yes, he's younger than me, but we are meant to be. We are meant to be in each other's orbit. We are meant to help each other. I don't believe I came across his channel accidentally. I think he was sent to me via my guardian angels to try and expand on what I'd already seen and what I'd already done, because I've got such an open mind now. I sense people coming in the room before they even enter the room. It's that full on. I get no downtime. Half the time when I'm sleeping, I'm getting future messages. I had a vision about a school bombing about 4 weeks before there was a school bombing in Iowa, and I didn't know where I was. All I knew was I was trying to hide from this gunman, and I researched it 4 days into the new year, January the 4th, and apparently they just put it up there that a gunman went through Iowa school and killed 5 kids, and one was in the IC unit. And I'm like, I don't know why they show me these things, because I can't do anything from this end of the earth. I'm in Australia. That was in America, but it was such a big event. It hurt children, and I deeply love children. I'm thinking that's why they showed it to me, but I had no way to stop it. All I could do was stand there and witness it. And it's the same with COVID. I don't feel like I'm anything special or anything different. They just showed me what would happen, and I tried to warn the powers that be by telling my psychologist, can you please alert the authorities of what I've seen? I think she did, and I think that's why we got the vaccinations a lot quicker than the rest of the world, because I told her to alert the powers that be. That would have been Scott Morrison at the time, to try and get to try and stop it. I was trying to stop what was going to happen however I could with whatever information I was being given. I had to die and pass from this earth to get that information. The only thing that brought me back was my mother-in-law saying, you need to come back because your son, Christopher, is going to need your DNA. Whether he gets cancer in the future, I'm not sure, but he needs my blood work in the future. So that's the reason I came back. I was happy to go. I wanted to go. It was such an amazing feeling being up there that I didn't want to come back, but I knew that my son Christopher was going to need me in the future for his health. So that's all I have for you today. I don't feel happy that I have these abilities. I don't feel that one person should hear the cries of everyone on the planet, including the ones that are going to pass away from the mass shooting. It's like I'm a human person. I have a spiritual being, that's God, speaking through my human existence, and it's really difficult because I'm a human and I need sleep and I need relaxation. I don't need to be shown these scary events that interrupt my sleep, and I have to write them down. And whenever I write them down, at least I've documented them. I have a VARD, a visual art diary, because I document when I see these things. I saw Prince Philip leave the planet, I saw the Queen Mother leave the planet, and I had to document it because I figured that no one would believe me. And so far I've been correct. I've been at least 2 years out. I'm usually 2 years out to what's going to happen. Sometimes I'm even 20 years in front. I see things, future events, 20 years in front of, depending what I've touched that day, who I've been around, and how closely I connect with that person. I've really loved Matthew Perry. I loved the Friends movie. I used to watch it with my best friend, and the guy in it, Joey, the actor, is the reason, the guy that I had children with, I wanted to meet him because he looked like Joey off Friends. I really loved Joey Tribbiani. He was a beautiful character, and he's so handsome, and I fell in love with the guy that looked just like him, who was Spanish, South American, Spanish, Italian. And I've got beautiful children because of my attraction to him. I love my children. They know how much I loved Matthew Perry. So they weren't at all surprised to know that I saw a future vision for him, because I felt like I was coming home watching something, like they were in my living room. They were real friends. They were like my friends. It was like how I experienced my life growing up, when I lived with a bunch of people that I was young, just like them, and you have your special friends, and Phoebe was definitely me. I was definitely Phoebe. Monica had traits of me because I used to clean a lot, but I ended up doing beauty therapy, so it's kind of funny, like you pick out people like in sitcoms and never realise that they're part of you invite them into your home because that's part of your safe place to be. Charmed was another one. I used to love Charmed, and I really loved watching Alyssa Milano, who was Phoebe. I was pretty much Phoebe, I felt, and I used to watch it every Thursday night with my girlfriend, and they become part of your family. They become part of your place to go to when things aren't working out in your life. If things are going south, you have your sitcom to come home to, like Sheldon, like Frasier, like Friends. The 90s sitcoms were the best sitcoms ever. You know, I love Frasier and Karen, which should have been called Jack Karen. She says, "Ah, Schmitty, what's it all about?" And I still think of it like that. You know, like, how do we make sense of these things that happen in the world? We've got no safe place to go to anymore except our shows. Now the world's, you know, about to have a war. Where is our safe place? That's all I have for you.